BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to have a look at Algorand. Seems to be one of the better charts out there really. Even after yesterday's pullback, looking at a lot of altcoins last night on the live stream, we recognised that a lot of them were breaking down below their, basically their Bollinger Band Center, 21 exponential or a 20 simple moving average. They're both breaking down, I say both, a lot of charts were breaking down below those areas. Not Algorand. For some reason, Algorand slow and steady wins the race, keep creeping up, which is fine. It's exactly as expected. I don't normally deviate too much from an overall market view. I look at some coins put one to the channel. I only really talk about charts that I'm trading or I'm interested in trading with potential setups, and this was one of them. And it looks to me still like the plan is in full swing. That plan should bring Algorand up to 44 to 45 cents. Based on the weekly, that's your 200 exponential, which is basically just like a bearish retest. Obviously, we would love to see it break from there, and maybe one day it will, but I think it's a lot to ask for it to do that at this stage, given the fact that the money flow index has already got bearish divergence. But the RSI on the weekly hasn't, but it is quite hot. But that doesn't necessarily mean much. It's just showing a continuation of momentum. RSI is, if anything, to look at bearish divergence and bullish divergence. We do have a little bit of bearish divergence, and we're likely to continue with that pattern. So, look, the top target would be around 44 to 45 cents, but it doesn't mean that that's where you should definitely target, because there's a moving average, a definite moving average is of significance, but there are other areas on this chart that you might want to think about taking profit if you don't have that kind of risk tolerance. And the rest of the market overall, I wouldn't say is bearish. I wouldn't actually go as far as to say that. Yesterday we saw the pullback into the bottom of the range, exactly as expected. This is Bitcoin's range as far as I'm concerned. If we do break down below here, then it would get pretty nasty, and a much bigger pullback is well, I wouldn't say absolutely likely. We could just see simple wicks, but if we do start to get in a daily closure, candle body closure below this range, $65,000, then yeah, I probably would start to think about incremental moves down just above 61, below 61, maybe as low as the upper 50s, 58,000 or thereabouts. But until then, we're still within the range, and while being in this range, although it's quite early, we could be looking at maybe a revisiting of it, maybe a little wick below it, and then to live in here until the halving kicks in. And at that point, your guess would be as good as mine. Historically, halvings are a bit of a non-event. We kind of actually, I suppose, lose value after the halving because it's priced in, obviously. And then the economic reality of that halving starts to rear its head later on, throughout the year. So, and then obviously into wherever it goes parabolic. However, this time is a little bit different, and that is the truth of the matter. It is a little bit different. So we can't really look at the way it has behaved in the past and assume that that will happen this time, because it's not. It's not working the same. So but if we're thinking about it from a technical perspective and forgetting about the halving, then this is where we should be living, at least anyway, until we break out one way or another. And recognize what I'm saying. Closures on a daily candle body below 65,000 probably gets continuation into the upper 50s, and a breakout from here, well, goes parabolic, baby. Right, so back to Algorand. We're thinking an intermediate area is around 38 cents, 38.5 cents. That goes back to these candle bodies, these wicks. So there is this area which is the intermediate area where I'd be thinking, yeah, maybe a good idea of taking profit around there. It's still a good 25-26% move from where we're at right now, with the top target being up here around 50. So still not a bad move at all, and depends obviously on where you bought it, but Algorand's still looking pretty sweet here. So let's have a look on the 3-day. See if there's anything of note to take. So we do have a trend signal on the 3-day. So Ichimoku Cloud gives you a few different ways to play it. One of my favorite setups is the one that we've got right now. So you've got to have the price action above the cloud, you've got to have the conversion baseline above the cloud, and you've got to have this Chiku span above the price. and those three things should give continuation. And the good thing about these setups is that, yeah, if you're going to get out of a trade like this, because it gives you an entry point and an exit point, the exit point would be when we get a closure inside price action, which is obviously quite a whack from where we are right now. You know, you're going to be like, well, what's the point of that? We're already down 25% before we even got the exit point. And potentially you could come all the way down to 45% before an exit point. Or another way to think about it is that this trend is still in play if we do come down to these levels and don't close. So we're still in a trend. So it might not be very useful to many people to think about it like that, because you'd be like, oh, there's a trend signal, but the trend signal is only really relevant once the trend signal kicks in, and that's where your entry point is. So yeah, there is a trend, but doesn't mean you should enter at a higher level. So this is for anybody who already owns it or has bought it, or is trading it since, I suppose, my last video or before, when we were speculating about these highs and the 45 to 46 cent high as well. Right, so the dailies today caught on the 10 exponential, which is still a very good sign. Let's take it to a 4 hourly to digest that portion. So it's a little scribbly, a little messy. We tried and did actually close above the Bollinger Band on the 4 hourly. This is still a decent trend with a golden cross retest over here, golden cross retests over here. So still performing as you'd expect, but it's getting choppy because the market's choppy. So, you know, it was slow and steady wins the race. Very neat technical moves. But since Bitcoin has started to, well, stumble a little bit, shall we, and the rest of the market has started to stumble, this chart, I wouldn't say is irrelevant, but it's becoming less neat and tidy when it comes to supports. Before, it was very neat. It was relatively neat. But now it's not quite so neat because Bitcoin is like, I'm coming down. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. So yeah, I mean, it's 10% up today. That bounce has been a pretty sweet bounce from what I can see generally across the board for the majority of altcoins. And this has actually been a pretty serious move. 12% from the wick, and from the wick to wick, it's 14% bounce. So that might be all you get today, to be honest with you, because it depends on how Bitcoin and Ethereum want to behave. I'm thinking that we probably do continue with a little bit of a green day today. Whether it catches wind and we see some some more bouncing is a different story. But it might be that this bounce is over, and we've got to turn our attention back over to Bitcoin to see if we sweep the low again before we go back up. Absolutely possible. That's absolutely nothing to worry about if we do see that. Now, Ethereum had a closure yesterday above a Bollinger Band. Again, we're toying with the idea of closing back above it again today. Buys on Ethereum would be 3,600, 3,700 really, so not too far from where we are right now. So long as we're closing above this area, similar to Bitcoin, we would be looking for this to bounce back up. It's the obvious place for it to happen. But Ethereum, unlike the others, went quite overheated and actually dropped pretty much without bearish divergence, so it does look just like a normal consolidation and getting ready for another move up. So I'm bullish on Ethereum pretty much immediately, to be honest with you, and I'm more or less bullish on Bitcoin immediately because we came down to the bottom of the range. So any buys down there or any educated guesses for altcoins when Bitcoin came down here, I think is relatively. No, it's a decent try for a trade, definitely, because this is the expectation. So the expectation is that we get support here and we live in here. And again, Ethereum complementing the idea that we should be holding this area and we should be moving up. And again, Algorand being one of the stronger charts, didn't revisit any of its Bollinger Band center and actually closed above all moving averages and today touched the 10 exponential. So if there is a chart out there, and again, it's not a millionaire starter kit, it's just a strong chart with a strong trend, it is Algorand. And if that is the case, then we've got two targets above us. For next major target is going to be 38 cents, and the top target above that is around 45 cents. Really not much more to say about it than that. I think it's good. I think it's strong. It's not going to be able to resist the entire market coming down further, though, so we have to accept that. We always know that with altcoins, though. It should go without saying, but a lot of people don't recognize that. It should go without saying. Bitcoin and Ethereum come down, Algorand's going to come down. If Bitcoin and Ethereum stay here or go higher, Algorand will go higher, and it should outperform both of those and probably quite a few others, which is about time because it has been pretty rubbish for a long time, and now it's finally sort of beginning to show signs of strength compared to other altcoins. It does look stronger than them. It might not outperform, you know, some kind of crazy meme coin in its gains, but from a risk to reward perspective, this chart is still trending up and should reach at least the next take profit area, and this would be, you know, the major take profit area. I hodl a lot of this though, so you know, Algorand's a big hodl for me. So whatever it does, you know, on the day to day, week to week, is not too much of a big deal for me. Absolutely 100% prepared to hodl this to new all-time highs, hopefully, but certainly much higher than these over a period of time. But in the short term, 38, 45, that'll do nicely. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Not much more to say than that. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, because I've seen what some YouTube channels are like, and it's just people reading articles, which, I mean, is madness. And they have like dozens, well, I say dozens, thousands more subscribers than me. All they're doing is reading. They're just reading. So look, I'm trying to apply some of my my 10-year trading history for this video. This is you know, I'm hopefully that this is valuable to somebody. Maybe I should just read articles if that's what it's all about, like a nice bedtime story at the end of the stream, just to catch up with these other the subscriber count. But it's up to you. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.